do this, but I don't know what I want to do.
Today we are joined by a guest who embody the bridge between the analytical and the ancestral. She's also have support to people who, through dance, who need to heal.
I had to search for myself, what gives me joy and what gives me that satisfaction that I've been seeking. I was afraid maybe to admit to myself that dance was what I wanted to focus on. Do I want to sell my soul, like suffer this much just to stay in this career path?
Welcome to GSTV, the home of community impact. Stories where we grow, we inspire, and we make an impact on one step at a time. Now, today we are joined by a guest who embody the bridge between the analytical and the ancestral. She was born in the northern of Tanzania. She's navigated an unimaginable loss when she was 15 years old, and her turning point eventually led her to discover that healing isn't just found in the lab, but in the body. While her academic journey took her from biochemistry to a Master of Public Health, and her professional career led her to the Hall of United Nations and the WHO, she realized that even in a prestigious global career can leave you soul searching for more than what. So during COVID, she made a pivot and she returned to her root. Today, she is a dynamic global health professional. With her 5-year experience, she's also have health support to people who, through dance, who need to heal, right? So she reclaimed her self-esteem and refining her value. She speaks the language of the world, fluent Swahili, Spanish, French, and Portuguese. But more importantly, she speaks the language of human connection. Whether formally managing multi-dollars half grant or teaching the dance to asylum seekers, her mission remains the same: community, joy and love, and radical inclusion. So let me welcome today Sophia Egan to the show. Welcome, Sophia. How are you?
I'm good, Aline. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I'm just honored to be part of the podcast.
Okay, that's good. So we have obviously had a conversation once, right?
Yes.
So what I can say is that we only getting to know a little bit, but we were introduced by someone who believe that you are a change maker. And in fairness, when I spoke to you the first time in preparation of this call, I couldn't help but being excited about this conversation. And I want our listener to get to know who you are, right? And today we are going to dive into your journey and what you're doing and how you became this person who support other people through your dance and your body and your change and then your journey, right? Now, Sophia, you have a background in biochemistry and a master in public health, but you have said that despite the good job and the prestigious title, something felt like it was missing. What was the specific haha moment during the COVID, the lockdown, that made you want to just stop and follow your dream?
So yes, that is quite correct, as you said. So my background is mostly sciences, and I initially, always wanted to be in a profession that heals people in one way or another. And so I was always interested in like the human body, the human mind, and curious really in general. So I think, again, growing up in Tanzania, that was what was nurtured. The arts are not really that favored, well, at least anyway, within my surroundings where I grew up. It was mostly like, okay, if she's good and intelligent in like sciences, then we'll just keep encouraging that. And that's how I then ended up mostly going into the scientific route. But again, throughout college and university, I was always involved in societies. I was the chairperson of the Africa and Caribbean Society in my university in Cork. Okay. And through that, again, it was, I wanted to be part of that because I wanted to reconnect with my culture, my African culture, while in Ireland. So as you said, I moved to Ireland when I was 16 years old after losing my mom when I was 15. So I came over to live with my dad. in Ireland. So yeah, and that again, being part of these different societies in university exposed me to, again, the creatives. I was also part of the choral society, the drama society, and just trying to, yeah, do everything really. At one point I was, yeah, forgetting to eat because I kept going from lecture to clubs and societies. Yes, I think that's how I also myself discovered this creative side in me. And I just really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that human connection. I enjoyed exploring different concepts through dance, through art and theater as well. Like I was part of in the drama society, I was part of a play, a very short play. And yeah, I just found that all really exciting. So anyway, I had to finish my degree. I was already kind of halfway through it. So had to finish that. And then after that, I wanted to pivot into, I guess, a career where my people skills and my cultural sensitivity and just exposure would be of better use. So I didn't really see myself working in the lab. And yeah, I really struggled through the biochem degree because yeah, it's quite methodical. And that's it. Like when I put myself, I can learn everything and like just put it out in the exam, and I did well like in my exams, but it was just something that I was not really passionate about. And then so yeah, with public health, I did a master's in public health then after that, because again, I liked the idea of that aspect of health promotion, helping people to live, better, healthier lives. And in that, again, my kind of focus was reduction of health inequalities. I was really interested in that aspect of course, like the society, and we're all born in different environments and conditions, and our health is highly impacted by where we grow up, whether we have a job, or whether the environment we're living in is polluted or not, or if it's clean or not. And so yeah, all those aspects, poverty, all those affect the health of a person. And that's when I also was then more intrigued about the social aspects of health. And again, that kind of kept coming back to me as something that I'm really interested in. So that having that scientific cellular level background was good, but I realized that I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy doing health promotion campaigns, talking to people about their health, advising them on health, getting them to get tested for like cancer or sexually transmitted diseases, all those stuff. So yeah, I think that was where I was kind of going to this like social aspect of health. And yeah, as you said, again, during COVID, so I finished my master's around then and then started working. And I was working for about 2 years after that COVID period. But again, it was that period where things were just so uncertain. Life had kind of taken this weird form where I don't know if it's common with many people, but for me at least, I was just like, where am I going? And it's either a lot of my friends that I had gone to school with or university had moved to other cities, or they had moved in with their partners. Yeah, and I wasn't really satisfied with and fulfilled within my work. And I just felt that, yeah, something was missing, and I needed to make a change one way or another, do something to change, yeah, my life and or the condition that I was in. So yeah, that brought me to wanting to go back to Tanzania, Africa, from Ireland. And yeah.
So that's very interesting. I want to spend a bit of time in one of the few things you said. There was a lot there. All right. So I'm thinking about COVID bringing a form of transition. For me personally, it was the same, right? It bringing a form of transition, and that moment where people started to look within themselves and see what exactly and who I am. Now, would you think that it was COVID, or was it the events, personal events in your life? For example, your mom not being around,
Mhm.
losing her at a certain age, or what was it about COVID that made you realize that I'm doing this
Mhm.
science or whatever, but I'm not where I'm supposed to do. I need more than this.
Yes. Yeah, I think maybe it was inevitable. It was coming, but
Okay.
COVID,
What's
it
the
just, yeah, it was the tipping point because,
mm,
again, there was that isolation, the social isolation, and I was working from home. So, again, being a sociable person and a person who feeds off people's energies, it was hard to adjust to that way of working. And I know
yeah.
like oh, it's really good because you can have that option of hybrid and being at home and doing other stuff. But yeah, at that point for me, it was just very hard because even the social aspect was not there outside of work. You know,
Yeah.
you couldn't, yeah, unless you went for a 5K run with someone. I think that's it. It was COVID probably just, made it more urgent, but it was kind of a long term coming for me. And so I did go to Tanzania. I eventually wanted to go to Tanzania, but again, things didn't kind of align properly. So I did go back to visit and again replenish myself and try to see, okay, where do I kind of go from here really? And that was in 2022, like the end of 2022.
So you have described dance when we talked in the past as a way of stepping into making people happy, and you say it's a self discovering of yourself and also an opportunity to make people happy, right?
Mhm.
So were you initially a dancer before all this, or were you always dancing when you were young, or is it just at that moment you felt like, oh yeah, I can do something with my body and dance? Or walk me through your dance journey.
Right. Yeah, it's very exciting journey
Mm.
because I
Yeah.
think um again for me I always danced from the moment I was young. However, my family was even surprised because when I came to Ireland and I joined a dance group and I was part of doing shows and things like that. And I started publishing my dances on social media. And then I'd have friends who went to
Mm.
school with me, and my family would be like, "What? We didn't know you could dance like this." So
Mm.
I guess, yeah, I just took it more seriously after that part. It was around like university, but before that I always danced. Let's say if it was Christmas, I remember in Tanzania would have family over, and that would be the main thing. Like we'll just have food, family, music. And for me, I was always keen on doing a performance, so I would always make sure that I would put like a song on, and mostly it was gospel songs because it was around the Christmas. And then just I had memorized these routines from my favorite gospel singers, and we'll put the music on, and I start dancing. And sometimes I would force my cousins to come dance with me. So yeah. So we were like the entertainers. So that's my recollection of kind of how I guess I got into dancing, or that I was always really dancing from a young age. Yeah. So, and I was always just very energetic, like when I do it, because I just felt the music and I wanted to just, yeah, get it out. So it was definitely a way of for me to release my emotions and express myself. So as you mentioned, from the point where my mom passed away, I didn't really acknowledge that grief. Really, I think yeah, as there's the 5 stages of grief. Like my first one
Mm.
was a long kind of denial phase. It was just it didn't register with me. I tried to like do anything but acknowledge that in my own psyche catch up to me. So I think from that time now, when I was in Ireland and was going through university, and then of course the bits of triggers of stress and sometimes missing my mom, it kind of then brought it all back. And when it came back, it came flooding in. So I just
Mm.
so overwhelmed. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to do. So yeah, eventually I just found again. I was doing dancing through the societies and everything, and every time people were telling me like, "Oh my God, like you're so good. You should teach us, or like let's do a dance session with you, or you should perform in this." So then I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, yeah, like if people are seeing this, then I'll explore it more."
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, that's how I got into it really. I started dancing with groups, joined societies, dance societies, and from there, yeah, it has been kind of going on.
That is really amazing what you just say, because I think I'm hearing a lot about very few people are aware of your gift. When I'm seeing people going through life and changing other people's life, there's always that one person say, you can do this, you can do that, because you go through life doing different things. Very few people wake up and say, I know I'm a singer, I love singing, and that's what I'm going to do. A lot of people just go through life. Yeah. Isn't it? I want to go through a little bit before we talk about what you're doing with the dance and how you're serving the community, which is really important for us to discuss. I want to talk a little bit about transitioning. All right. So there's a lot of people who go through transitioning into different aspects of their life, like whether it be profession or their mind and everything. What are the things that you've learned in through that journey of going back home, going back to your roof? What were you looking for? Were you looking into yourself? And what are the things that you learned that helped you to be the service that you are today through that transition?
Yes.
Were you scared, for example? Or were you, all those little things that people, what are the steps that you took in your transition?
Again, it was very scary to decide to leave Ireland at that moment, because I'm even like getting emotional thinking about it. But yeah, because I worked so hard for my university, and I achieved, like a first class honors in my master's. And so it was like the picture of, success. And I got to work for a really prominent health and social care company. Even a company is a statutory body really in health and social care. And had my pension sorted, and the career was looking very good. And everybody in my family was like proud now. They're like, yes, you made it, this is it, Sophia. And I guess for me, it was also good that I could get into this sector, and I performed as I did. But then again, for me, I was just like, when I was working in it, say it was around 2 years in, I didn't get that motivation feedback that I needed, which was seeing the impact immediately to people that would be impacted with my work. Of course, like it was important policy work. However, for me, I think the way I work, I need to see the results almost immediately to the people. So so I remember deciding to leave, and I actually had to take about a month mental health leave, which I didn't know I could get. But my manager was so supportive, because again, she started seeing the decline in my level, my quality of work. That was also it kept me in this loop of sadness, because I was like, this is not me. This is not what
you are a performer. You do your job well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So of course my manager was so supportive. She was like, look, take the time you need and just figure things out for yourself. And if you want to come back, we'll have you. If not, like, we'll look at other options. And honestly, the best support I ever got. So I then took that month out, figured things out, and decided, yes, I'm happy to completely leave this job, and I'll be fine. I had to like keep telling myself. So as you're saying, like what kind of lessons or things that I learned along the way was just that self-trust. And it's not a once-off thing. It's something that you have to keep reminding yourself that you're going to be fine, because nobody else is trusting you at that moment. Like, you
need to trust yourself.
Yeah, my family was looking at me like, you're leaving this job, and like,
I know, we're African. Exactly. I don't think it's just an African thing. It's everybody. Yeah, it's
side as well. The Irish are very like that as well. So even my Irish side of the family was also like, Jesus, girl, like, what are you doing? So it was definitely daunting. But eventually when I made the decision, everyone was supportive, and they're like, look, that's it. You've decided, just go for it, and hopefully things work out for you. So that was it. Like, just self-trust and believe that, oh, okay, I really want to do this. I'm not happy here. I have to go. And so that's then how I got to leave. And I mean, we'll talk about, I guess, how I ended up in this side of the the
In the
sphere.
few,
Now
yeah.
I'm in the UK.
Before you go there, I like the what you say, self trust, because I think every time you transition into a different journey where you make a decision that kind of going to shake a lot of things,
Mm,
I think that key thing about self trust is important, isn't it?
for
Because
sure.
what I see is that if you don't have even that confidence about what you do, the voices on the outside would
Yeah.
actually, especially, we like comfort. You had a good job. You have
Exactly.
pension. Everybody,
Yeah.
you hear that from the young age. Get your job, get your pension sorted. Da, da, da. It's becoming more and more clear that those things are not what makes us happy, isn't it? And I think it's very important for the youth now to realize, because we, the older version of ourselves and the late people, we have settled for the status quo of safety into jobs and blah, blah, blah. It's not entirely bad, right? Not everybody wants to leave their job. What I think is people are starting to realize that their mental health is more and more important. And I think this is the key thing that COVID kind of opened the
Yeah.
mind of a lot of people,
Mhm.
that I can have the biggest job, but if my mind is not in the right place, it's fine. One of the questions I have for you is, you say you learn about self-trust sensor, but one thing that people always get scared into stepping into the different thing, apart from the self-trust, is first they're worried about people, what they're
Yes.
going to say, especially people that matters in fairness.
Yeah.
And secondly, they are ashamed of that thing they like.
Mm.
Right. So, for example, if someone decide to leave a high paying job like an executive to just become maybe a cleaner, that's an extreme, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's what they love. Then they just want to do or sell stuff, right? And little, or maybe do a handiwork or something. We always are afraid.
Yes.
So that's what I'm thinking. So when I was asking about your growth, I wanted to know what did you sit down and say, this is it? Did you write down like a
Pros
note
and
and
cons.
drawing board and all these things? Did you do that? Because that's what's stopping people a lot. Apart from the self-trust, they want to have a plan in place that they can justify to everybody else.
Mm.
Right. So did you do all that, or you just went for it?
Yeah, I get you when you say, the having that plan so that you can justify it. And I didn't have that. I really was in a place where I just was clueless. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it's been, again, like, I was like, I know I don't want to do this, but I don't know what I want to do. I
Oh,
don't
wow.
know. And as you said, like in that part of like that ashamed, like maybe I didn't even admit to myself at that stage that dance is what I wanted to do, and
Okay.
maybe focus more on that. So yeah, it was just such a conflict within myself, within my environment. But that's what I'm saying. For my family in Ireland, I had to tell them that, yeah, they knew that I really didn't have a plan, but they could see that I was quite distraught, and that, yeah, it was good for me to leave, and maybe I would come back to Ireland sometime. So for them, it was like, okay, fine, like she'll take some time. But then
Yeah.
for people in Tanzania, I didn't actually say that, I didn't present this. I was just saying to them that, oh, I'm actually just back for a bit, you know.
You find yourself justifying a lot, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I know, I know.
My Tanzanian aunties and uncles that, yeah, I'm just, trying
Yeah.
to figure myself out and find what to do. So I kind of, for the people in Tanzania, I had a different story that gave them, like, that would keep them, okay, and not ask too many questions. And for my Irish family, again, it was like, okay, we got to a point where they were just happy to like understand me and let me be, and go for it, whatever it was. So again, at that point, I said I was afraid maybe to admit to myself that that was like dance, so to say, was what I wanted to focus on. And I'm still in that journey because, of course, I have so much insecurity and maybe fears that are ingrained in me from, yeah, people around me, my family, friends. It was always that, the secure career was the traditional careers, so to say. So this idea of a creative career or like performing dance, it was not really what I was exposed to. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of fear that I carried from my family, and then of course then it was within myself. So it was hard, and it still is a journey. I must stress that, I am
A
trying to
growth.
play it
Yeah.
safe, But at the same time, I'm really trying to, again, practice that self-trust and be like, Sophia, you feel good when you do this, do it, and just try and go for it as much as you can. So yeah, I definitely agree with you with those points. And it's just, at the end of the day, you will know, if having a plan is good for you to feel comfortable and, to give to your parents or to, I don't know, people around you, your family, to be okay, fine, you have a plan, you can go ahead, that's good. But for me, I didn't have a plan. So
Yeah.
I really genuinely did not know. And
That's
maybe,
amazing. It's good to know. I think it's a very good conversation to have because people expect, and not just, I wouldn't say people, but I think the world, we have been created an era of if you don't have it figured out, you are a nobody.
yeah,
And a
exactly.
lot of people get scared to take that step and the growth step to go to that journey they wish to go, because you have the voices on the outside. You have the fear of you yourself accepting and loving what you want to do. And you have now what you say as well, this whole concept of we have to have the drawing board, right? Now, I am not against drawing board, but I'm also saying that I think drawing board is good if that's your style. But I'm
Yeah.
also saying that it shouldn't be, that's not for anybody listening right now who wants to take a step, take that one step. It just don't have to be that drawing board, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, and I think the other thing is as well realizing that you can bounce back no matter what,
Yeah.
be fine, and
Yeah.
that's really, it's the hardest thing to come to terms with, that fine, if it doesn't work out, you can come back, you'll start, like, I believed for myself, I had to keep telling myself that I am a hard worker, I'm smart, I'm intelligent. And so if I have to, if I try this and it doesn't work out, fine, I'll just start over, look for any job that would pay me just to get my life together and, get, some savings back up again. And yeah, I just had to keep telling myself that I have skills, I have the intelligence, and I have the efforts of working hard, and I'm not afraid to do that. So yeah, that's really what I
I
had to.
love that. That self monologue of acknowledging what you are capable of doing helps, right? So let's now go into the inspiration part. So now work me through now how you started the dance, and let's talk about the dance.
Yes. Yeah, so
Yeah.
as I said, from 2022, going back to Tanzania with no plan and just thinking to myself, yes, I want to just get out of Ireland for the moment and just reconnect with my roots in Tanzania, with my family, my friends. And I was at that point, you know, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to stay in Africa, in Tanzania. And so I was like, okay, for the moment, I'm just going to apply for different roles, use whatever I have. So my background, my academic background, and just find jobs within Tanzania. And yeah, that was really hard. It came to 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. There was nothing that I was getting in Tanzania. And I then branched out to other countries in Africa, and there were opportunities. Then, I remember this one in Guinea-Bissau, and I had never heard of that country before. So I was like, but okay, it's in Africa and it's next to the beach, or it's like on the coast. Yeah, how bad could it be? Like, there's sun, there's water, like, I would love that. So I applied for it, and yeah, surprisingly enough, I got selected for the interview, and then went through the interviewing process and was actually selected. So that was working in a project within one of the UN organizations in Guinea-Bissau. And that was just an amazing experience, in terms of finding out about this new culture in the west of Africa. And again, trying to see the similarities as well with Tanzania as well. The people, I thought, was the one key common thing. The people
Yeah.
in Bissau are so genuine, so kind. And it really just reminded me so much of my people as well in Tanzania. So I was like, wow, this is just incredible. Like, from the east to the west, you still have this, this human aspect that is common. Again, with the work, it was quite intense. It was quite demanding, but at the same time, I got back to that kind of, again, idea of, oh well, this is literally what I've been working for. I've gone through my studies, and everybody or anybody within this public health sector would love to be working in this category or in this job area that I'm in. Again, the conflict came back. So it's been really like this, So I was like, okay, I really should stick here and, yeah, try to climb the ladder. This is it. So, yeah, fell back into that and started, getting into that, psyching myself up to walk up the ladder and staying in that career path. And again, of course, I started feeling unhappy, unappreciated. The working environment was toxic, and
Okay.
eventually it just got to a point that I couldn't really take it anymore. And I had to reflect again, do I want to sell my soul, like suffer this much just to stay in this career path? And that was, again, another tough decision that I had to make. Because I was everybody in my family, my friends, everybody was like, oh my God, you made it to this. And like, this is amazing. So of course I felt the pressure to stay there. But yeah, I tried. And I think towards the end of 2 years, it was, unbearable. Again, mental health went down the drain. I just felt my self-esteem was so low. My self-confidence was so low, and just self-doubt constantly. And yeah, again, looking back at that, it was a tough moment. And that's where, again, everything just started coming back, grief hits you. Everything is like when it goes apart, then it all just, falls and comes crumbling. So again, I had to find that inner strength. I had to search for myself and what gives me joy and what gives me that satisfaction that I've been seeking. And so after that, I decided again to quit that. And really what also helped me with that was my now husband, who at that point we were seeing each other. And he was so supportive and so encouraging, and he really believed in me, and he could see my creative side. He could see that I loved dancing. I lit up every time I danced or I showed people some moves, and he was like, wow, I even got him dancing. Now, and that was again what encouraged me to go to kind of, fine, leave that and just start figuring things out. So fast forward, now I'm in the UK, Manchester, and that's where my husband was based. So then I came over initially for love, and I was like, okay, let's just see how this goes. And I was still set on going back to Tanzania. And with him as well, he was like, we could try this. But again, things just didn't align. So
did you feel Tanzania is your happy place?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But I think I've recently now started to kind of break that down and see maybe there is some part of, the nostalgic feeling that is really strong there, because I left when I was 15. And I guess at that point, my life was more of like on a survival mode. So I think I kind of have this connection that I'm just like, I want to go back. I want to give back. But maybe now I'm realizing, okay, maybe it's not time yet. And I need to just, establish myself, and so that I can be able to better give back when I can. And, again, if it's establishing myself there in future or being part of both worlds, because I'm now literally a representation of both worlds, the African side, the Irish side. And it's something, my happy place is the fusion of those two. Like once that acceptance of those two. And that's it. My enthusiasm for culture, for dance, is really a fusion of those two. And yeah, I think it's still a process for me. Um,
Process, yeah.
yeah. But I guess bringing it back to dance, as you were saying, so that throughout last year, so now I'm in Manchester for a year now. And throughout last year, it was again, that journey of, okay, just doing whatever I can do, just get out, find people, connect with people. And I just kept, constantly connecting with creatives, constantly feeling at home with creatives, feeling at peace and just enriched with creatives and music and dance. So that's where I gravitated towards, and I offered my time to this organization because at the moment I was looking for a full-time kind of fixed term employment. However, yeah, that was really hard. I think everybody had been saying that last year was just horrible for
Yeah.
finding work. It's crazy because there must have been something in the air. But yeah, so eventually, because I wasn't finding anything, literally, I was just so, downtrodden and and kind of frustrated because like with my CV, and everybody again kept telling me, but with your CV, what's happening? You're not getting anything. I'm like, guys, I am trying. Okay. So that then, so all this anyway, to try to keep myself sane, I was like, I need to at least volunteer, do something in the community so that I can take the focus off myself, off my
Yeah.
head, be with people, contribute in any way that I can. So then this organization, I was volunteering for them, and they were like, what do you like doing? I was like, oh, I love dancing. I can dance as well. And then I have all this other side, project management. I have project coordination, public background. So they were very interested. And it's such an interesting organization because they work to kind of prevent or stop like social exclusion. So they promote social inclusion and isolation, which is a huge thing here in the UK and like even in Manchester, and I'm sure in Ireland as well now. Like people, there's a lot of communities are either marginalized, and then it's just continuous isolation and and all that. Then that impacts the health. So for me, I was like, this is perfect. Yeah, like it's something that I'm passionate about, health. And again, this whole area now of social isolation, combating that is of interest to me. And the CEO of the organization was like, well, since you can dance, let's try to do some dance sessions with the groups of people that we work with. So they work with asylum seekers and refugees, mostly women. And then they also work with survivors of domestic abuse. And they also work with young people, again, from underserved communities. So yeah, quite a mix of vulnerable adults, I guess, or kind of people who have been going through isolation, the elderly as well. So she just launched me, and we went into one session together. She did a dance facilitation activity, and you could see again the women's faces, like when they came in,
happy.
they came in, they were just like, shy and just looking, tired. But then once she got them up, did some warm up activities, warm up with movement and music, and they all just started coming out of their shell. And there was this cycle of, music was on, and then somebody would come in, do a dance, go back out, and then you see that some who were shy, you just come in with them and they let go, they let loose, and they just break it down on the dance floor. So it was just so inspiring to see. And I was like, yes, this is it. I love this. I love seeing.
You felt that sense. I suspect this is the clicking moment where you felt, wow, this is me.
Exactly. I was like, of course, like this is it. I can dance. I can show people to dance. And most of all, I love that community aspect of it, that people, it was healing again. It brought me back to my passion for health and for healing, because I could see that this was healing for them in that moment, even though it didn't solve their problems. in that moment, they were free, they let go, they smiled, they loosened up. And yeah, I was like, okay, sign me up. I'm going to do this. And then so she assessed how I did with the group. I had like a few minutes with the group myself, and she was like, girl, you are amazing. Yeah, she was like, yeah, that's it. Next session, you're taking over. And I was like, wow, okay, just like that. So from that, we partnered to kind of do these sessions within the communities. And I kept growing as a dancer, like facilitator as well. And yeah, I just realized that there is actually such an impact in this. And actually, here in Manchester, they're pioneering this thing called creative health, which is
Okay.
basically applying the creativity disciplines and creative disciplines into mental health improvement, because of course, I'm sure even within Ireland there's huge backlogs of mental health services, there's huge demand, growing demand, but the public services are not able really to cater for that. So
Yeah.
there's that now shift into, okay, we really need to look at it from not just the pills perspective and the pharmaceutical perspective, and or clinical rather, but also look at the social aspects. Like, people are sad, people are isolated, people feel depressed because they're not connecting with other people, they're not getting out of their houses to meet people,
Yeah.
they're not moving their bodies, and especially movement, that's important to just loosen up. So it's not strict choreographies, that I do, but it's very easy movement, good music, and it's just, yeah, it's an experience really. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
healing experience, a joyful experience.
And so basically, do you want to tell us a little bit about the name of the organization, or you're not supposed to talk about it? No? Yeah.
Um, yes, no, I'm sure they would be happy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's
It'd be
Afro.
nice to know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Afrocats, and
Okay.
they are they're just based in Manchester, really. But it was founded by this lady called Magdalene, and she herself is a dancer and performing artist,
Yeah.
and she again formed this organization on that basis, that she wanted to bring joy to people through dance, through creativity, and really reach the communities that were isolated and communities that were kind of, on the margins of society. That is really what they do. And it's an amazing like culture to work in, because again, they're very trauma informed, and they tend to, deliver all their workshops in that recognition of the person, the individuals,
Yeah.
and have
Yeah.
gone through traumatic experiences, early childhood traumatic experiences as well, that can affect you all the way up to an adult, depending on again, where you grew up, where you were spending your life, and what amenities you have access to. So, and services. So yeah, that's really the essence of the
Of
organization.
that.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned when we were talking, I think you mentioned something about, is it the same organization where you do some dance and support the asylum seekers as well, or is it a different organization?
Yes. So that's it. So I've done sessions with them, but I've also done sessions with other communities.
Community. So it's just mostly that one organization that bring different walk of life, different
Yes.
situation, community. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yes, so different
Now,
community groups can ask them for, we want you to come deliver this session for the women. And because again, there's been increasing demand, because it's visible, when you assess the women after, if it's a particular community group. For example, I do sometimes with the Bangladeshi community, and initially
yeah,
I just didn't know anything about, the Bangladeshi culture, or, what kind of music I could go and dance with them. But they were like, yeah, just anything, that you will
they're
show
just
up.
happy to dance. Yeah,
Yeah. And again, you see the ladies, they are incredible. Like, they just want to move their bodies. And yeah, when they hear the music. So I usually do a mix of African rhythm and Latino rhythm. So some soca in there, some Afrobeat, some Amapiano, and some reggaeton. And it's just all just good upbeat music.
beat
And
music. Yeah,
old
yeah.
music, and they just, yeah, they love it. So yeah, we do different communities, and yeah, it's kind of depends on where. Like, I've delivered ones again for survivors of domestic abuse, and again, that was also quite empowering and, quite good to see that the women, what they've gone through, and initially they would be shy to come out to like join you in the dance space. But of course, we practice this trauma-informed practice where you make sure the space is safe for them. They have the choice. They can sit down and watch if they want. They can join whenever they feel free. So you just encourage them. There's that cultural respect. So yeah, it's really just such a wholesome way to combine my expertise in, again, dealing with people in public
People and supporting people.
and
Now,
and the dance, which is
I
my
want to say something, right? So people might be listening in podcasts in podcast tools, and they won't be seeing your face, but I see how you lit up when you start talking about the dance and the joy that brings to you. And I think it's so amazing to finally find that moment of
yes.
actually this is who I am. So if someone wants to come to you and say, hey, apart from being a half Irish, half Tanzanian and blah, 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 who are you? What would you say to them? You would say,
So
how do you call yourself?
I would say I am a dynamic and versatile, multi-talented individual who enjoys networking and connecting with people from different cultures and ways of life, and just loves to bring joy to people and joy and healing. And dance is the main channel that I'm using at the moment to do that, to deliver that. So throughout my work, I want to focus on that. And, at the moment, I have a part-time role as a project coordinator in this NGO, again, that works with asylum seekers and refugees. And I will be coordinating well-being activities. So I'm just so excited about that, because even in my interview, that was my main pitch. I was like, we need to do more dance activities, more well-being activities. So yes, I think dance is one of them, but I am just, discovering every day my different things. So I would just sum it up as a dynamic, multi-talented individual who just loves connecting with people and bringing joy to, joy and healing.
People. And that is beautiful. So we have talked about your journey, which is kind of like a growth process, inspire people to change, and now the impact you're making through the organization. Now, I want to ask you one or two questions before we end up. So one of the key questions that always come up, which is important, is more about the learning experience, right? It sounds a bit weird to say that to someone as young as you, but what would you tell your younger self about who you, like when the way you are today, if someone is young around your age group and they want to transition, but yet they have that good job, but they feel scared and they feel, oh my God, I just hate this. What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say that, first of all, they can acknowledge that that's a hard, situation to be in, and acknowledge it to themselves that this is a major step. Once they feel confident in themselves, that's really, they feel this calling that is just undeniable, and they're not happy, they're not satisfied, they're not fulfilled wherever they are, no matter how good it looks to the outside world. Deep down, they know they want to pursue something else or different. That yes, they should find their why and their reason for that, and just trust in themselves. And that's what I would tell myself, again, younger. Okay. As I said, my journey has been like up and down, because of course there'll be moments of self-doubt, but I would just, from the beginning, I would have liked to tell myself that, Sophia, you are capable of this, and you just have to trust yourself, even though nobody else understands what you want to do, and they don't understand why you're leaving this situation that looks good to them. You know what you want to do, and even if you don't know, you'll figure it out. That's the thing, that to just trust yourself, that you are a resilient human being, you are intelligent, you are smart, and you will figure it out and you'll be fine.
So you have shown the listener that your journey is a reminder that a career isn't just about resilience.
Mm.
It's about the resume. It's actually about resilience. Sorry, it's not about the resume. It's about resilience. It's about your own story. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have shown that you can be a scientist and a dancer, and
Mhm.
you also shown that you can be yourself.
Yeah.
But what I like the most about our conversation is what you said about that trusting yourself. I haven't heard it before so far in my in my guess.
Yeah.
That
No.
whole the sentence trusting yourself.
Yeah.
We invest a lot of time finding fixing ourselves, but
Mhm.
trusting yourself involves embracing every part of who you are, isn't it? And say, you
Definitely.
know what? I'm capable of doing it. I know my limitation, but I have to trust that I can do that because you don't always trust people because they're perfect. You
Mhm.
trust people. So when you trust yourself, it's not because you're perfect. It's because you believe that I think there are things that I can do, right?
Yes.
So you want to say more about it?
Yeah, no, that's what you said, that it's not, because you're perfect. It's because
Yes.
you have this will that, no matter what, you will learn it, you will be fine. If you have to take up a class, if you have to move somewhere else, if you have to pack up and leave the comfort of your house, the people you know, and go somewhere else. And that's what I think my key strength has been, adaptability. Like I'm really highly adaptable, and I forget that sometimes. And so sometimes I would just be like, oh, I don't think I can do this. But then it's something that, yeah, I have to keep remembering and trust
Mm.
myself that I have done this. I have moved all my life. I have been able to achieve this grade. I've been able to perform really well, and I've been able to ace interviews and get into really reputable companies or organizations. So yeah, it's often you forget that. And even though it doesn't apply in the new walk of life that you choose directly, it definitely
Yeah.
does. Those skills are so important. And I think now employers, even, I don't know if you'd agree, but now employers are even focusing more on that, like the soft skills, because now anybody would just like put it into chat GPT and get the gist of it. And then, yeah, you need someone with that emotional intelligence. You need someone with resilience. You need someone
Mm.
who can think outside the box and, yeah, just pave a way where there seems to be no other option really. So
Yeah.
yeah, trust in yourself. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
trust in yourself. Yeah,
mental.
that's so.
Pin it in my head.
Yes, trust in yourself. Now, tell me something. Sophia Egan, welcome and thank you so much for coming in our show. So, where do people find you? What platform? Give us information. So, if people want to learn, even some community based where they're listening now and they're based where you are, and even somewhere around the
Yeah.
UK or even Ireland, where
Yeah.
do they find you?
So you can find me on my socials. On Instagram, I go by Sophs_Life's Ventures. And
Okay.
maybe you could put them in the description of the podcast. And that's, yeah, for Instagram and LinkedIn as well as Sophia Egan, Sophia with the PH. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe watch out for my YouTube channel
Are you
coming.
on TikTok?
Yes, I'm on TikTok, but oh my God,
TikTok is big for the young.
yeah, I'm trying to like, yeah, navigate around it. I think as a millennial, it's like it's a bit scary for me, but yeah, but I am trying to navigate it through it. So for now, let's just stick with the Instagram and the
Yeah.
LinkedIn. So yeah, I mean, through Instagram, you can even sometimes find your way through my TikTok because I do kind of cross post sometimes, but I want to just focus on those for now.
So now, what one last thing you will say to people about dance? What is dance?
Dance is freedom. Dance is joy. Dance is just, yeah, healing. So
Yeah.
those three things I think represent it for me: freedom, joy, healing. And when we talk about dance, I think most people maybe who didn't grow up in like dancing culture or there's the stereotype that like, oh my God, I can't move. But actually, you really just need to let go of your
Yeah.
and just listen, connect with the music. That's the important thing. You need to connect with the music, whatever music it is, and just flow with it. So
You don't necessarily have to have the right rhythm, right? So people always assume some part of the world, some gender, some nationality needs to have more dance move, but it's not what it's about, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. And I think over the years, or like in the recent years, it's become like, oh my God, if you say you're a dancer, that means you can like choreograph these like
Mm,
you can follow these hardcore choreos and dance steps. But no, at the basic level of it is just movement. It's
movement.
connecting with your
Yeah.
body, connecting with the rhythm and move and
Yeah.
just be.
Thank you so much. And you heard it. Dance is movement. Dance is joy. And thanks for our listener. We're so happy that you were able to join us today in this amazing conversation with Sophia Egan, and follow her to all her socials. We're going to put that on our platform so that you can, if you want to connect with her, you can learn from her. But this journey is an inspired journey of a young woman who transitioned from a high-paying job to follow her dream. And we're not asking everybody to leave their dreams, their work, but we're asking people to find themselves and to trust themselves. And thanks for your inspiration. And thanks you for the work you're doing in your community there in Manchester. We wish you all the best. And one thing I want to say is, people, guys, if you love what we're doing here, please, you know what to do. Like and subscribe, and tune in for more amazing story of growth, inspiration, and impact. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.